there too.
Yeah. Okay, that's at our target line, that's for sure.
Yeah. Still feel like that face is a little closed.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can get a better one here.
Good pass there, good balance.
Yeah. A little left kind of per usual.
Yeah. Alright, so let's take a look at some of our TrackMan numbers just to help understand what we're looking at going forward. Okay, so we don't want to jump to any conclusions too quick. Alright, so here we've got a negative path, a more negative face, and then a negative attack angle. Alright, now obviously we want that negative attack angle with irons and wedges. Alright. And there's nothing wrong with having that out to in, kind of that left pass. There's drawers and there's faders. Alright, but the fact that the face was more closed, a greater negative number than that path, that's why it's going left of left.
Okay.
Alright. Now if we open up the club face, our ball flight might then straighten out, but the golfer may just then be, getting diminishing returns with more spin, higher launch, less distance.
Yeah.
Alright, so the path is definitely something I wanna address.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, but just knowing that going forward, that if we have that left miss and we still feel like we're swinging it the same, we can probably look at club face being a leading culprit. Alright, but one of the other principles in the ball flight laws is gonna be, where do we catch that on the face? Alright, the gear effect, round on round. Alright, so that last shot being the heel,
Yeah.
alright, the heel actually saved that from being even more to the left.
Uh-huh.
Alright, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So if that was on the toe, it'd really draw.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. So the typical golfer who's outside to inside with the open face, hitting that big slice,
Mm-hmm.
alright, some days they think they're hitting it pretty good just because they're riding the toe.
Okay.
Alright, so the toe can really dictate that ball flight.
Gotcha.
So what I'd like to do is bring the noodle in here, alright, and let me just demonstrate a little bit about what's going on. Grab my handy 8-iron. Cool. So I put the noodle directly over the golf ball,
Mm-hmm.
and if we think about the plane of that golf club and how we're not playing baseball anymore, we're not swinging on this path, we bend at the waist, alright, and as I make that backswing, a path that comes to the left or has that negative number, when we say outside, that's kind of what we're getting at. That outside to in has a very steep angle. Alright, but the noodle is just kind of quickly mess with our mind a little bit and see if we can shallow that golf club, and that's what gets that club behind us, swinging on a more positive in to out.
Gotcha.
Alright, so we don't need to go right to full speed.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we can just start to feel it out. We obviously make a couple practice swings first, seeing if that club can shallow and the hands go down, as opposed to when our shoulders or hands move towards the golf ball,
Gotcha.
giving you that angle.
You feel like you're letting, instead of letting it go this way,
Exactly.
starting more.
People always ask what my trigger is or
Yeah.
where my power comes from, and it's got to be from the ground, it's got to be from the lower body. Those guys that try and pull with the hands or use their beach muscles, those arms and chests, that's what gets that club moving over.
Okay.
So my sequence of events from that ground is the turn, and that's what lets the club just fall behind me.
Gotcha.
Give me some leading edge, give me some natural lag. All right, and send that ball out there.
Nice.
All right, typically that's going to produce that right to left ball flight.
Cool.
All right, so a couple of practice swings first underneath that noodle.
So we're getting it back that way.
Good.
Not going So we're at the top, we're not going here. We want to start from,
Yeah, and I even use kind of visual aids to feel as though we're going to be going from that in to out.
okay.
All right. And just like TrackMan said, that closed club face won't hurt us this time. It'll
Okay.
help bring that ball back as opposed to a left shot going more left.
So start small.
Yeah, call it 90% speed, but we don't want to go into a half swing when we've got, say, a 7-iron in our hand. We'd want a little bit more loft if we're going to make half swings.
Okay.
Wow.
It was right on the
Flush
line.
shot. So,
Yeah.
so how did that feel, and what sort of differences in swing or ball flight did we get there?
For me, I felt like I started more from the ground, like you said, rather than kind of throwing it.
Awesome.
And the big change was just, it started to the right and then it came back
Yeah.
instead of what we saw before. Or even before when the face got shut, then it really
Yeah.
kind of went left. Like started left and went left.
Now, lucky for us, we get to play around with TrackMan.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but your feel, a divot when we're hitting on the grass, and also maybe using some face tape to know where we caught it. Then also just witnessing that ball flight. We know that start line and curve did something different, but we're lucky enough that TrackMan can definitely confirm that for us. So that noodle drill, that's a pretty substantial change right there for us. We got a positive path with a positive face, but that face being less open than our path, that draws that ball back. That was a beautiful shot right there. Good stuff, JT.
Thanks.